How y'all doing? My name is Michael Hood, and this is case study number 4, chapter 4. It is Facebook privacy. What privacy? So to start off, we're going to introduce it by saying more than ever, websites such as Facebook are using all of the personal information gathered from your profile to create specified advertisements based on that knowledge that they collect. Facebook is free to use social network, which is why they rely so heavily on advertising revenue. The more information they collect on users, the more advertising companies will pay. And recently, consumers are beginning to take notice and demand better privacy controls. So the first question, perform an ethics analysis of Facebook. Well, Facebook uses data collection based on things such as relationship status, employment information, and restaurants you visit, among other things, in order to make a detailed representation of how you live your life. This data can be used and shared by Facebook without user consent, which is one of the biggest problems that they're facing. The information that Facebook collects can be used against Facebook users. For example, let's say someone likes a page about a health condition on Facebook. Insurance companies can get that data and use this information to block that coverage for that condition. Other ways it can be used against users is, let's say you make plans to go on vacation and someone knows exactly when and where to rob your house. These are not good things, and that's why people are demanding more privacy. So the dilemma when it comes to these issues, these ethical issues, well, the information that Facebook collects and stores and then sells to advertising companies should be subject to more private controls. There are 1.65 billion subscribers to Facebook, and a stockpile of personal information of that magnitude, according to concerned stockholders and users, should be better protected and not up for grabs for the highest bidder. That's too much information to be in the hands of just anybody. Now, for the next question, what is the relationship of privacy to Facebook's business model? Well, Facebook's main source of revenue is private information. It's the information that users share and then they sell to advertising companies. So, I mean, the more users share, the more they can make. And their whole business model is surrounded by the product of information. They're selling information. That's all they sell. And the fact that Facebook is free is the reason why this information needs to be sold in order to make them revenue. Next question. What are the weaknesses of Facebook privacy policies and what factors contribute? Well, some of the weaknesses include activities of users can be viewed by third parties. They don't ask for permission to distribute private information. Information is at risk of being used against the user, as explained before. And default privacy settings are weak and do not let users know what is being shared. So those are the weaknesses. Now we'll get into the factors that contribute to these weaknesses. Well, when it comes to management, they lack in informing users of what they're going to get or what they're getting into and how their information that they put on the website is going to be distributed and shared to third parties. And Facebook also assumed that since the server is free, users would just magically just know their information is going to be distributed. I think they just assumed that it was common sense, but in reality, common sense ain't too common anymore. People demand more privacy, in which Facebook is having trouble executing because their entire business model is based on this private information that people are trying to stop. For the next question, it states, will Facebook be able to have a successful business model without invading privacy? And could Facebook take any measures to make this possible? Well, they are one of the leading social media platforms in the world. They reach millions of people universally, and they have the users to function successfully for a long time. But with Facebook relying solely on information to sell to advertising companies for their main source of revenue, it's hard to see a successful business model in the future. There are way too many people outraged about their information not being private, and if they can't fix these privacy policies without losing money, I think it will eventually fade out. And I don't see how, if they do fix these privacy policies, advertising companies aren't going to want to pay as much. And I just don't see Facebook being able to generate the amount of revenue that they have into. Maybe they can keep themselves afloat, but they won't be the monopoly that they are in social media right now. And in conclusion, Facebook has such a huge demographic of users, and it's a useful site to many. They have so many useful features for people to use better to better their lives. But their business model will struggle due to the privacy issues they are dealing with. The information that they collect from people is too valuable, and for their business to stop. This creates a dilemma between the technology and the user. It's like a catch-22. They're at a crossroads that is going to be tough to get away from. People want their information to be private, but Facebook also wants that information in order to sell it. So some of my questions that I want you guys to think about is, if Facebook creates better privacy policies and protection of information, how long do you think until advertising companies stop keeping their ship afloat? How long until these advertising companies aren't going to want to pay for the information that they're getting because it's not as quote unquote private anymore, in order to create this picture of each user and then to distribute advertising material accordingly? And for the second question, is the user in Facebook, is their trust broken? Is it too far gone to fix? I think there are a lot of people out there that either stop using Facebook because of these issues. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is a lot of people try to delete their accounts because of these privacy issues, and they would come to realize that it's hard to they'll it's hard to delete their accounts. They'll come to like these crossroads. They don't make it easy to delete their account, I should say. So I think there are a lot of people that are outraged by this information, and for some, I think it may be too far gone to fix. But let me know your thoughts. Thank you.